Many rappers in the industry today have known each other since they were kids and long before the rap game. We can't talk about rappers like these without mentioning Young Thug and Lil Baby. These two have stuck through thick and thin right from their childhood days. So when reports hit the media that Young Thug's arrest was because Lil Baby set him up, fans couldn't help but dig through what could have possibly gone wrong between these two friends turned brothers. Young Thug snitch on Lil Baby. Young Thug and Lil Baby may have had a good relationship, but all of that seems to be going down the drain after Lil Baby allegedly set Young Thug up for his arrest. Word got to Young Thug that Baby may have snitched on him, and in return, Young Thug apparently snitched on Lil Baby. In the early weeks of July, Fulton County District Attorney Fannie T. Willis announced that two more high-profile racketeering influenced and corrupt organization RICO arrests would be made in the next 60 days. While fans were still trying to figure it out, rap blogger DJ Akademiks suggested that Willis may have been talking about Lil Baby in one of his live streams. Akademiks said that he had been getting info directly from the streets and said 4PF and Lil Baby are one of the names he is hearing.
I've heard two of them. I've heard the names. I believe you know who the obvious name is. They go by three letters. They've been popping. One of the top, I would say, 3 rappers in the game.
Wack 100 also claimed that he believes Lil Baby may be the next. But the best way for them to find out is to try to have a promoter book them in the UK or Canada. Lil Baby may have travel bans that he does not know about. If the passport is revoked, then that would be enough proof to know that the feds are coming for him. Although DJ Akademiks told Lil Baby not to reply to him, Lil Baby addressed the chatter via Twitter after tweeting about his future business endeavors. "I'm trying to start an investment group for the young black millionaires," he wrote. "We can run the world if we play it right." A fan replied, "Man, you better be looking out for that RICO everybody keep talking about." To which he said, "Only God can judge me." Young Thug and Lil Baby's relationship. Young Thug and Lil Baby have both had a good relationship. In fact, Young Thug was the one who got Lil Baby into rapping. So it was quite surprising for people who knew their come-up story to hear that they ratted each other out. Here was a breakdown of their relationship before the chaos. Lil Baby has always been open about his life before getting into the rap industry. He was on the streets doing gang-related activities when he got arrested. And even after he got released from jail, he returned to the streets. However, Young Thug showed up and pulled him out of the streets. "I was in the neighborhood," and he was like, "What you doing in the neighborhood?" I was like, "You already know what I'm doing," Lil Baby said. According to Baby, the day Young Thug changed his life, he came to him in the streets and asked him how much money he was going to make from being in the streets that day. He told Thug he'd make $7 to $10K. So Thug told him he'd give him the money if he agreed to go to the studio. While a lot of Lil Baby's fans and critics saw the story as a regular come-up story to gather pity from fans, Young Thug sat for an interview with The Breakfast Club where he shared that he actually did help Lil Baby get out of the streets, and he did so because he just didn't want to see Baby go to jail. I just didn't want him to go back to prison," Thug said. "I was scared for him to go back to jail because he had just did a bid. He got straight out of jail and went straight back to the same neighborhood. The same house that the police busted and locked him up. He went right back to the same house. It was a spot. I think I was more scared for him of like prison." According to Young Thug, before Baby started rapping, he got likes on Instagram because he got the flow, and he had good captions on his page. He had a huge following and people liked him. Thug encouraged him to get in the game, to show him the life. Took him a few times everywhere. You know, he started seeing this kinda easy. We grew up together too. It makes it seem like it's easy if he seen me do it. Since launching his career in 2017, Lil Baby has fetched himself 3 Grammys and many more awards. However, his relationship with Young Thug continued to bloom, with Thug even publicly stating that anyone who had issues with Lil Baby had issues with him. He wrote on his Instagram story, "You had Lil Baby out, you def mine." Lil Baby speaks on Young Thug life in prison. Rapper Lil Baby found himself in the Capitol, Washington, D.C., for the Capital One Arena show. While he was making his way out of the Reagan National Airport, he ran into several media outlets that took the opportunity to ask the rapper a few questions. Of course, it was only right that they asked about Young Thug and Gunna, since he's had a history with both rappers. Media outlets asked the rapper how Young Thug and Gunna were holding up in prison. Lil Baby responded by saying that both Gunna and Thug were in good spirits. To prove that he wasn't lying, Lil Lil Baby follows suit with a thumbs up as he smiled into the camera.
Well, baby, how's Young Thug doing? I know all the circumstances. Just want to see how they holding up good? Sure. All right.
That wasn't the first time Lil Baby spoke about Young Thug's life in prison. Before then, Lil Baby shared a tweet on June 7th where he spoke about Thug. He tweeted, "I talked to Young Thug. He and Grace Spears." The Atlanta rapper shared, ending the update with a prayer emoji. Charges against Young Thug. When Young Thug was arrested on May 9th, the only information shared was that the rapper was slammed with RICO charges and an 88-page indictment. However, after the police searched his house, new charges were brought against him. By May 11th, the authorities levied 7 additional felonies against him. After several months of little to no information on Thug's case, his legal troubles worsened as he was slammed with more charges on August 9th, 2022. According to reports, the news charges against Thug were participation in criminal street gang activity, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a machine. Young Thug bond. Young Thug's arrest came in May 2022, and from that very day till now, the rapper has been in prison without a possible release on bond. He's had several bond hearings, but they all proved futile after he was refused release on several grounds. Thug's first bond hearing came in May, the same month of his arrest. However, by May 23rd, he was denied release. A couple of weeks after that, Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, demanded an emergency hearing on the grounds that Young Thug was living through inhumane conditions while he was in jail. According to Steele, Thug was given only 1 hour of outside time, kept in a room with one small window, and kept away from others in confinement. They believe that these conditions weren't kind to Thug. By June 2nd, they had another bond hearing. Steele offered a bond package during the bond hearing. In his package, Steele asked that Thug be put in confinement in his home, and as his punishment, he would have a 24-hour electric and in-person monitoring by a team of off-duty police officers hired by a firm, police dog searches, full video surveillance, and that all visitors would be searched before entry, including women who a female police officer would search. He was yet again denied bond, as the judge claimed that Young Thug would be a danger to the community and could intimidate witnesses if he was released. He added that he also had some concerns that Thug could be a flight risk, and for these reasons, he denied his release on bond.
He has significant ties. He's helped a number of people in the community. But I don't see the danger of the community that you promised me from the testimony.
It's the opposite. I think that my promise is good. Mr. Jackson is saying that the entirety of Mr. Williams' desires is that people do not commit crime, do violence, and to stay in school.
There has been significant proffers about Mr. Williams being a danger to the community, Judge Ure Glenville said while announcing his decision. In particular, the states proffer that they have taken proffers from other gang members, people who are in this particular indictment and others who are not in this indictment, that he is the leader of the gang. He is dangerous. Although the judge denied Young Thug's release on bond, he shared that Thug's release could be reconsidered. The judge also encouraged his attorneys to file additional motions. Unfortunately, it's been 2 months, and it seems Young Thug and his legal team have given up on getting the rapper released from jail. During Thug's bond hearing, a couple of celebrities were present to intervene for Thug. Machine Gun Kelly and record executive 300 Entertainment co-founder Kevin Liles were some of the people who participated in the hearing via video call. In addition, a 15-year-old boy who Young Thug had helped financially also testified in his favor.
What is YS? Are you a member of YSL?
Well, I'm not signed to the label on papers.
What is YSL to you?
Well, to me, YSL is a family. To me, YSL is, ever since I first met him, it's been all love, all respect, and it has been pure. And for me, when we spoke on it, other than, the name of the label, Young Stoner Life Records, I told him my YSL means Young Successful Life, because that's something that he has created. He is a young successful man himself.
The judge, however, told Brian Steele that the young man's testimony wasn't enough to prove that Young Thug would not be a danger to society. Young Thug rap lyrics. One of the major reasons why the judge was stiff about Young Thug's release was because the prosecution built a strong case against Young Thug, as they quoted the lyrics of his songs as evidence against him. During the bond hearing, the prosecutors quoted the lyrics from songs like So Much Fun and Just How It Is, as they argued that Thug shouldn't be released on bond. The lyrics that were read from the songs were, "Ask the cops, ask the detectives, they know all the business. Ask the cops and the detectives, all the jurisdictions. Ask the kids at school who ambition all the missions. Gave the lawyer close to $2 million, he handle all the." Thug prosecutors argued that the lyrics were based on real-life situations, and he was once again accused of being the head and founder of YSL, Young Slime Life. His prosecutors described him as the most dangerous man in the game. The prosecutors also urged the court to remove Brian Steele as Young Thug's attorney. They claimed that they sent in this request due to an alleged conflict of interest that they believe existed in the course of their work with Steele. As a response, Brian Steele gave a little emotional speech saying, "I have been with Mr. Williams countless days, weeks, months, and hours. I know his entire life. Do you want to talk about the representation of a client? That is the bond of an attorney-client relationship." After some moments of deliberation, Brian Steele was permitted to proceed as Young Thug's attorney in the case. Young Thug trial. Since all of Young Thug's bond hearings proved futile, the next step his legal team is taking up is going to trial. During his last bond hearing, the judge mentioned an expected date for the trial. According to the judge, the trial is set to begin on January 9th, 2023. This means that Young Thug will be sitting in jail for the rest of the year, unless, of course, a miracle happens and the rapper is released on bond.